It's only the strong survive. Evander Holyfield returns to the ring against Alex Stewart. The amazing comeback of Vinny Pazienza. He takes on former champion Lloyd Hunnigan. Only the strong survive. Evander Holyfield, the former heavyweight champion of the world, expects his second run at a title to go as well as his first. Back in 1986, Holyfield won junior heavyweight and cruiserweight crowns. Several years later, he was on his way to the heavyweight ranks, and he passed each test with flying colors. Holyfield showed quite a bit of power. Eventually, Holyfield would receive his shot at the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world, and Evander Holyfield would win again, and he would do it in impressive fashion against Buster Douglas. As champion, Holyfield made 3 successful title defenses. He was truly a warrior from start to finish. Holyfield was the real deal. Alex Stewart goes by the name of the Destroyer. The 28-year-old London native has captured all 32 of his professional victories with knockouts. His professional career began in 1986, and Stewart has kept the pressure on ever since. Whenever Alex Stewart steps into the ring, there's action. 22 of his 32 knockouts have come in the first 3 rounds. Whether by knockout or by decision, Alex Stewart wants one thing and one thing only. The Destroyer wants to be the heavyweight champion of the world. Vinny Pazienza on tempo, and David, the electricity is in the building. This place is sold out. Everybody wants to see the return of Evander Real Deal Holyfield.
Evander Holyfield, Bob, with some changes. He's got Rapstar Hammer as his promoter. He's got Emmanuel Stewart of Thomas Hearns fame as his trainer. He's also got an old nemesis tonight in Alex Stewart across the ring. He defeated Alex Stewart 4 years ago. He needs to do it again tonight to get another shot at Riddick Bowe.
Well, it was a very close fight that night against Alex Stewart, but Stewart was stopped by cuts. What about Evander Holyfield, the new trainer, and Emmanuel Stewart? How much different will that be for Holyfield and Stewart?
Well, for Holyfield, coming in, the confidence factor is important. As you look at Alex Stewart, he wants to get in there and do a big number tonight. Alex Stewart fought scared, perhaps, in some of his previous fights. He thinks he can get over the top tonight against Evander Holyfield. He's getting psyched up. He knows this is his big chance. The George Foreman fight may have brought him over the top. Now he wants to prove that he can win a big one.
Well, he's very relaxed and very confident. Evander Holyfield trying to change his game plan at 30 years of age.
You just cannot do that. But for Evander Holyfield, a big factor in this fight, the confidence. He has fought Alex Stewart before. When you want to get back on track, it's nice to see somebody you've beaten. It's like going over familiar ground.
All right, the remarkable return of Vinny Pazienza, a serious automobile accident in November of 1991. The doctor said he would never fight again, but Pazienza is back looking for a 3rd world title.
Pazienza has proven the experts wrong a lot. Only Vinny and Roberto Duran have won lightweight and junior middleweight world titles. Now Vinny Pazienza had some trouble making the weight tonight at 158. He's bulked up that much. Meanwhile, Lloyd Hunnigan could have eaten for a week. He would have had trouble making this weight coming up because he's a junior middleweight.
Well, Lloyd Hunnigan is very relaxed right now, and he's really taking things in stride.
He's come over here from England. He really wants
here in Atlantic City, New Jersey. The other night, Evander Holyfield, with his sneakers on, tipped the scales at 218 pounds, the heaviest he's been as a heavyweight.
And about 12 pounds heavier than his last fight. Alex Stewart at 228.
That's exactly what he told us he would come in at, 228 pounds. He was walking around at 257 before camp. Evander Holyfield, 30 years of age. Alex Stewart, 28. The height advantage for Stewart by a half inch. 10 pounds for Stewart. And the reach, 1.5 inches for Alex Stewart.
And we'll see how the extra weight affects Holyfield. In New Jersey, the 3 knockdown rule is in effect, as well as the standing 8. The doctor can stop the fight at any time, and the 10-point must system is in effect. The standing 8 count does count as a knockdown.
Holyfield and Stewart in our main event. Pazienza takes out Hunnigan in round 10. Raul Marquez wins in a decision. John Molina defends his IBF junior lightweight crown with a unanimous decision against Manuel Medina. As he ends up put on a show, now will Holyfield or Stewart do the same? Here comes Alex, the Destroyer Stewart, 28 years of age, ranked in the top 10 by the WBC, WBA, and IBF. He has never had a win by decision.
A lot of his knockouts came early. You see him being walked in, actually almost running in here. He wants to get this thing going.
Well, they've cleared the path for Alex Stewart.
Is this his time to win a big fight?
Coming into the heavy strains of heavy metal rock and roll.
He certainly has respect for Evander Holyfield in this bout. He didn't respect Holyfield's punching power the first time, and it caught up with him. He was almost knocked out early in the fight. He came on and was stopped later.
He won the first 24 bouts of his career with knockouts. Then he lost to Evander Holyfield in 1989. An 8th round knockout in which cuts caused the stop of the fight.
And he's been in there with more. Look at one of the best schedules you'll ever see. 172-6. He only fights the best. And though he's come up short against the very best, you wonder, is he due for a big one sometime in here?
The smirk of Evander Holyfield.
The one that shows he's battle ready. And not George Benton, not Lou Duber, but Emanuel Stewart. Stewart, of course, has been in many big fights himself, and Tommy Hearns' fame was excellent for Tommy Hearns.
Part of the customary confusion that surrounds major boxing events, getting fighters to the ring,
towels being thrown in,
commissioners jumping in.
Lou Albano doing the WWF.
Holyfield has come into Hammer tunes before, but now he has Hammer actually singing behind him. I don't know if that's good.
At least he got a free ticket for the concert.
But he's back.
He made such a gracious retirement, and it seemed appropriate at the time, but why not give him the chance for one more shot back? He waged with great effort against Riddick Bowe.
He said he went bowling, he thought about acting, went to some classes, but boxing is what he wants to do. Jam-packed here in the Atlantic City Convention Center in Atlantic City, New Jersey, live on Main Event TV.
You know, it's something with these big fights in major arenas, and when the fighters walk in, the people in the upper stands sometimes can see them first. They have the bigger overview, and that's where the cheers start to come from.
Now for the introductions, here's our ring announcer, Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, main event monitor, Hammer Time Boxing, along with the undisputed, undefeated king of beers, Budweiser, proud to be your Bud, present the featured bout of the evening. This bout is sanctioned by the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board Boxing Commissioner Larry Hazard Sr. All the officials at ringside shall remain the same as the last bout. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Atlantic City, New Jersey, let's get ready to rumble! 12 rounds of boxing in the heavyweight division. This is the title elimination bout. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He weighed in at 228 pounds. His professional record, 32-4, 32 KOs from Safety Harbor, Florida. He's ranked in the top 10, ladies and gentlemen. He is Alex, the Destroyer, Stewart. And his opponent across across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the red trunks with white trim, weighing in at 212 pounds. His professional record 28-1, 22 KOs. This 1984 Olympic medalist is a former two-time champion from Atlanta, Georgia. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the former heavyweight champion of the world, Evander, the real deal, Holyfield. Referee Rudy Battle will give the pre-fight instructions.
Gentlemen, your folks received your pre-fight instructions. Any questions here? All right, I might want a nice clean contest. Let's touch gloves, touch them up, let's go to work.
All right, we are set to go. Here are the judges for tonight's fight: Frank Brunette, Henry Grant, and Al DeVito. Evander Holyfield returns to the ring. Alex Stewart, a more mature Alex Stewart, and definitely a much more confident Alex Stewart. And we begin round number one. Gave the keys in this fight.
For Evander Holyfield to just remember what he did to Alex Stewart before, try to do it again. Set up the jab and try to get a shot early in this bout. For Alex Stewart, right hand power like he did in round 5 the first time.
Stewart told us yesterday he realizes Holyfield has to be more pinpoint with his punches, whereas Alex says, I've got to just let my hands go. I don't have to be as accurate to take this guy out. That's confidence.
You can't try to be too perfect, especially when you are a power puncher. If you're throwing them fast enough and hard enough, some of them will eventually get in.
When Holyfield won the title against James Buster Douglas in 1990, he weighed 208 pounds. Tonight he's 218, the heaviest of his career.
Watch the jabs for Holyfield tonight. When he goes less than 20, he's in trouble.
For Alex Stewart, he has 9 first-round knockouts in his career. Holyfield has 2. 3 of Holyfield's last 4 fights have been by decision. Bowe, Foreman, and Holmes with the TKO of Burt Cooper.
Again, Holyfield trying to establish his jab. Big weapon for him. Stewart is not a fast starter, even though he's got some of those knockouts. In his big fights, he has been overwhelmed early and then trying to fight from behind.
Right hand by Holyfield. That's something Emmanuel Stewart says he's working on. Evander threw it with an open hand and then tried to close the glove at the last second. They're working on keeping it shut tight and following through with the punch, not chopping with it.
Stewart very cautious so far. Sizing Holyfield up, looking for an advantage, and not throwing very much.
Good uppercut by Holyfield. That's the punch he took out Buster Douglas with.
Stewart is a little bit hurt here.
Holyfield told us that Stewart leans over his jab and an uppercut would work, and we've seen it here in round 1.
And Holyfield does not let fighters get away. He really does go for the knockout, and it's all over Stewart.
Cut on the left eye of Alex Stewart.
And it was a cut that stopped their first fight.
Stewart is being pummeled. Big round for Evander Holyfield. Now let's not forget, against George Foreman, Stewart was rocked often, but he came back and gave Foreman one of the toughest fights Foreman has had in his comeback.
Look inside, especially Mark Casey.
Al Gavin is the cut man. He will factor in big as far as Alex Stewart's chances are concerned.
Talking about the jabs for Holyfield, he had 36 in the first round. That's a healthy number. When he's in that range, he usually wins. Convincingly.
Get open, get open. Get open. Get open. You don't need that.
So far, far, this is resembling their first fight, where Holyfield is all over Stewart, who was slow to start. Stewart almost went out in round 2 the first time.
Good combination by Holyfield. That rocked back Stewart. And Evander Holyfield is being very patient, Dave.
But also making the most of his shots. Right uppercuts, rights over the top. He's working on that cut.
And it's opened up again, that left eyebrow of Alex Stewart.
Now, he's being patient, but it wouldn't be a bad idea if he gambled a little bit, knowing how Stewart has started slowly in big fights.
Good left by Holyfield. Still plenty of time here in round 2.
And that right hand behind the jab. Stewart befuddled by the hand speed and the power of Holyfield so far. He is just standing there in a trance.
Let's face it, this is a critical fight for both men. The loser really drops out of the picture as far as the heavyweights are concerned.
In his big fights, Alex Stewart has been so far behind early, he has not been able to catch up. If he could start all his fights in the 4th round on, he might only have 1 loss. He just does not come out of the gate.
Clubbing right hand, Holyfield trying to zero in on that eye. Stewart picked off most of that left. Holyfield is ripping through his punches, Dave. He's been a lot more effective with that right hand.
He's walking right through Stewart, and the right hand has been there for him, setting it up with the jab. The right uppercut's been an effective weapon for him, too.
Let's not forget, he's had the uppercut. That's what he took out Buster Douglas with, so that's been in his arsenal from his previous team.
He has Alex Stewart's number early in this fight. He loves to match up same as last time.
And again, Holyfield trying for that uppercut. And round number 2 ends with a Holyfield combination. A ringside view. We hope you're enjoying the telecast as you sit home and follow us throughout the evening. I talked to Tony Orlando, who was the referee in the Pazienza fight. He says he did not see the towel. He wanted to step in and stop it when he saw Hunnigan go through the ropes. That's when Larry Hazard jumped in.
He has back to it.
Okay, very good. Alex, what's the mode?
Well, a quiet Holyfield corner. Emmanuel Stewart not the loudest man as compared to Lou Duva and Georgie Benton, but the results have always been there. And the way the fight's gone through the first 2 rounds, Dave Bontempo, not a problem.
Now he's won them both convincingly. Stewart needs a wake-up call. He needs it very soon.
This 3rd round underway. Well, working behind the scenes throughout the evening has been Carl Banks. Carl now joins us at ringside. Carl, what about the intensity before the start of these fights?
Well, I tell you, it's just that of any fight of a large magnitude. Every locker room before the fight was very intense. Holyfield was very quiet in his corner and very concentrated. Stewart's locker room was a little more celebrated. I think they were anxious to get it on, but as you can see here, he seems to be a deer in headlights.
Yeah, it's been quite a transformation as Stewart has been very slow to get going.
Dave, did you like that for Carl, a deer in headlights?
That's pretty nice.
Well, he's being picked apart here, top and bottom, and it's, this is the story of his career. He's been taking giving away a lot of early rounds and wondering what happened.
Well, he tried to unleash a right hand. He's just not been busy enough. He said he wanted to throw his power punches and let Holyfield absorb them, whether they're on the arms or anywhere, but he's fighting in a real defensive shell.
And you can't say that Holyfield has taken it away from him. It's been there for Stewart to get off first, and he waits. Whereas Holyfield has the idea. Now Stewart with the uppercut starting to show some life.
Alex Stewart is a fighter who, more than most, tends to feed off confidence. And now he scores with a left and a right hand. Maybe that'll get him flowing.
Now Stewart, after that slow start, showing a little bit of intensity here. Of course, George Foreman, he was down early, and he actually won more rounds than Foreman, but the early points he surrendered cost him the bout.
Well, there was the 10-7 round early. Holyfield tried the uppercut. That punch might have been low. Rudy Battle stepped in.
You know, what's surprising off of that effort is that he would come out this way against Evander Holyfield.
But has he done enough to win this round 3?
It's getting close. He certainly has been his best round. Maybe not, though.
The bleeding has stopped over Stewart's left eye. Holyfield with the left that scored. The right was blocked. And they fight to the end of round number 3.
Total. We'll track that as it goes along and see how that goes.
Good left hand snaps back Stewart's head to start round number 4.
Now Stewart is meeting Holyfield at the crossroads. When Evander came forward that time, Stewart was there.
Got a glimpse of the CompuBox numbers.
Stewart getting a little brave now with the right-hand counter, trying to make Evander Holyfield think about what will happen if he misses his jab.
And now showing a little bit of movement. That's just confidence.
Yeah, he did not come out of the gate here, and it cost him early, but he's starting to fight the way he should.
Holyfield warned for pushing down the head of Stewart.
You don't need that.
Right hand by Stewart did find the mark.
That sent a message. He timed that missed jab by Holyfield and landed smartly. So he hits it back and just wait for that.
Holyfield has shown a rock-solid chin. However, in the Bowe fight, he was rattled. When a fighter comes back after that beating, does he still have it? And Stewart again coming forward.
Holyfield waiting a little bit. Stewart's getting his jab going for the first time.
That's something Emmanuel Stewart tried to work on, is to get Holyfield to throw the jab, not call with it. And Stewart is getting braver here in round 4.
And he is really countering effectively.
Stewart blocked that combination.
Evander Holyfield is sitting down and trying to make this a war at this point. Emmanuel Stewart did not want that.
But as Alex Stewart told us, a leopard doesn't change its spots when he was referring to Holyfield and Holyfield's newfound boxing.
Holyfield is throwing that uppercut from way out. He could get penalized on a counter there. It's too far away to be throwing that.
He did score with it early, but Stewart has taken it away.
No. When he scored with it earlier, Evander ducked with his head to get closer and then landed it. And there's another situation, the cut opening up again around Stewart's eye.
Holyfield had a similar cut in his win against Alex Stewart. And that is the end of round number 4. Good round for Alex Stewart. Carl Banks, you were in the fighter meetings with us. It seems like Alex is getting that confidence that he talked about.
Well, that's the one key for him in victory. If he's going to be victorious tonight, he's going to have to show a little confidence and not be so tentative in throwing the punches that he wants to get off.
He certainly won the round there. Excellent round for Alex Stewart.
I think the one thing to the Holyfield corner, though, normally Holyfield, once he gets hit, he comes back and tries to turn into a warrior. He has been a little bit more patient, maybe too much patience shown, because he's been hit again without responding.
All right, let's listen in on Holyfield's corner. And here
you go.
Replay.
Look who's getting into the jab business as Stewart lands the right-hand bomb behind Holyfield and then starts again. The jab setting up a shot. Alex Stewart, he's getting on his game because the jabs are coming.
Well, he mentioned that leopards can't change their spots as far as Holyfield's concerned. It also applies to Stewart. If you look at his fights, he starts slow but picks it up in round 4. And that's what he did tonight here against Holyfield as we start round number 5.
In the 4th, Stewart outlanded Holyfield 23-18 and had a 58% connect ratio. Holyfield down to 26 jabs from 36 earlier. He's starting to slide with that. Waiting for Alex Stewart to show more of a lead here. You can't live entirely off an opponent's mistakes.
Well, I think that's going to be the one thing that prevents Alex Stewart from going to the next level. Whether he wins or loses this fight, he has to show some ring generalship.
Bob Popo along with Dave Bontempo and Carl Banks at ringside here in Atlantic City. Evander Holyfield and Alex Stewart in round number 5. Now Stewart doing a little bit of retreating here, Dave.
And Holyfield starting to fight in spurts. Veteran fighters conserving their energies, knowing when they can turn it on and try to get off bursts and control rounds.
There's that jab again by Stewart.
And Holyfield digs to the body off the jab upstairs.
That is something Stewart told us he might want to do because he felt that was the key to Riddick Bowe's victory. Bowe went downstairs on Holyfield.
He was able to slow Holyfield down and wear him down. But Stewart is not bumped.
Now that left eye of Stewart bleeding again. Good double jab by Holyfield.
No hold, no hold, no hold. No hold. That's it. Both hands are free. Keep working. Keep working.
Under a minute to go in round 5. Remember, this is a 12-round heavyweight bout. The champion Riddick Bowe is on hand watching. He visited with Holyfield earlier this evening.
Whereas the first 2 rounds are very much like their first bout. Since then, it hasn't been that way. This is the big round 5 where Stewart had Holyfield in trouble. This has been a bit of a chess match.
The double jab by Stewart. Holyfield deciding to counter back.
Stewart waiting too long in this round. A lot of studying.
I think he's waiting to land that one big punch, and, it's not going to come if he waits. He's in with an experienced fighter.
Let the hands go.
Stewart in a little bit more of a rhythm now as round number 5 is complete.
Great look. Beautiful hair.
Holyfield has thrown 90 more punches, landed a large majority,
60 more. I've given Stewart 1 round so far in this fight, the 4th round. And the rounds, he's losing them at times more than Holyfield is winning. He's just not active enough.
An odd split up between Evander Holyfield and Lou Duva, Georgie Bent, now with Emmanuel Stewart.
You talk about the changes in a different corner. That corner will serve him well enough when he's on top. If he falls behind in a fight, can that corner light a fire underneath him? That's a major question.
Holyfield letting loose with the left hand. Stewart, though, holds steady with a jab.
Holyfield with his left hook, getting his jab going here too now. He's gained back the momentum that he gave away in round 4, that actually Stewart took away. The way Stewart's hands are, that uppercut is still there for Holyfield if he gets closer.
Holyfield waits to see if Stewart leans in with the jab. That's where that uppercut is most effective.
He could also do a lot off his own jab and just getting inside. Stewart too much in a reactionary mode, and at this point, letting Holyfield coast.
Stewart blocked most of that one.
You give Holyfield a chance to get off first, he'll do a paint job.
I agree, and Alex has to be more busy. He's just not busy enough for a guy who wants to go to the next level.
And the Bluebirds out here in the convention center. They want more action. Stewart missed with that right hand after Vinny Pazienza. It's sometimes a tough act to follow.
Yeah, very, very explosive type of a bout. And here, you can't blame the way Holyfield's fighting. He's taking what's being given to him, but Stewart studying too long.
No. Dave is right. Stewart almost walked into a left. Dave, I ask you, is Stewart fighting not to lose as opposed to win?
Well, we've talked about him being scared in other fights, fighting that way, and it seems that he's fighting for one shot. I wouldn't quite say not to lose, but he's fighting trying to let the one perfect bomb put him in a position to win, and you can't do that.
You know, I think he's sort of at a crossroads. He doesn't know whether or not he wants to be a contender or an opponent because he's been on the losing end of so many good performances.
And that is the end of round number 6.
Introducing.
The cut has not really been a factor for Alex Stewart. Now Gavin has done a good job with that.
Nor has Stewart's offense been a factor in this fight. Now here's a guy, he knows that Holyfield lost his last fight, was brought down to mortality, and yet Stewart not coming on despite the fact he's improved over 4 years. Not even giving himself a chance at this point to score the upset.
Based on the fact that Evander Holyfield has never been knocked out, he's counting on one punch. That could be dangerous as he tries to rip with that right hand and let the hands go.
Stewart has, in so many fights, turned a fight around with a couple of big punches. He had all those knockouts, but he's got to get into the habit of working to set up his opportunities. He's not doing that. Not just there for you to utilize. It's got to be set up. It's got to be jabbed to move the guy back.
Evander's doing a better job of working the body this round, something that I think is going to tell the story in the later rounds.
He's fighting with a lot more confidence and not afraid to just keep moving on in.
Well, Evander said that under his previous trainers, they made him think defense first. With Emmanuel Stewart, they want to be a little bit more offensive, but right now, he's doing a good job of just boxing.
You know, I think all the comparisons don't really come into play in this fight because he fought Stewart before, and he remembers what that was like, and no matter who's in his corner, he knows how to beat Alex Stewart.
You know, I don't know if it's the competence of the corner, man. I think he has a good trainer in Emmanuel Stewart. It may be when times get tough, he's used to hearing another voice.
Just under a minute to go in round number 7.
Fans are either waiting for Stewart to try to make an attack or for Holyfield to open it up, but Holyfield should not. He's fighting the way he should here.
Bob Pompa along with Dave Von Temple and Carl Banks here in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Evander Holyfield has dictated the terms of this fight. Stewart trying to unleash that big right hand and does score with a combination.
And he did it after Holyfield was wild with a couple shots. Holyfield missed, and this time Stewart did make him pay. But Stewart's got to set that up for himself.
And he just leaned in with a jab. Holyfield did not counter with that uppercut. Good shot to the body by Holyfield there. And round number 7 goes into the books.
Push it back, right to the inside.
Dave, Alex Stewart does some nice countering.
Yeah, he waits for Evander Holyfield to make the miss here. Holyfield just over the top, and Stewart gets inside and does some nice work. He's got to make the instantaneous switch, which he did, and then he follows up with the leads of his own. Even if they were not bombs, they drove Holyfield back.
All right, we get set for the start of round number 8. Carl Banks, Evander Holyfield seems very relaxed, and everything's kind of going his way right now.
Well, I think that's a plus for him and his corner because he's showing a little more patience. He's picking his spots, and he's not trying to take Alex out. I think it's mainly because he respects Alex's power, and at any time, a guy who has a big right hand can put you away.
Well, Emmanuel Stewart told Holyfield, let's go inside. There are the CompuBox numbers, and Holyfield up with the percentage and landing 60 more punches and throwing 70 more.
Very comfortable margin for him so far. We'll see how it goes in the trenches. Stewart ought to be ready to try to turn it around here. It's been a while.
Well, Dave, to this point, Alex Stewart has basically let Holyfield win, I would think, more than enough rounds where he's almost in a position where he has to knock him out. This is a 12-round fight, and we are in round 8.
Yeah, I think he's getting to that point. Stewart's going to have to gamble pretty soon. You cannot counterpunch your way to too many knockouts.
Stewart says he had to make Holyfield brawl, let him open up a little bit, but Stewart has not done anything to make Holyfield need to brawl.
And if Holyfield doesn't brawl, Stewart has to be ready to adjust his tactics.
Good combination by Holyfield. Stewart tries to answer back.
Holyfield not loading up on the shots as he was against Foreman. And against some other opponents where if he landed 2 punches like that, he'd go in and try to get 7 and 8 shots in. He's getting 2 and out.
There's a short uppercut by Holyfield that did find the mark.
And Stewart with one right-hand bomb that leads to a streak.
Right hand over the top as Holyfield tried another uppercut inside.
Stewart is a very impulsive fighter. He'll land one shot and then he'll get rejuvenated and try to land a few.
And Holyfield now reverting back a little bit to his old defensive stance with the crossed hands. And now here's the rumble maybe that Stewart needs.
Holyfield one punch at a time. Very new thing to see from him.
City Convention Center. Here's Alex Stewart's corner.
Take it easy. Get him off.
Same spot. I know. Alex, good stuff you want. Got a little war, Alex. We're working together. Round 9, Alex. Got a little war, Alex.
Dave, let's take a look at the flurry.
This is when Holyfield opens it up. Watch Stewart along the ropes. He'll lean the wrong way, and Holyfield gets him there. Good cutting off the ring. He hurts Stewart here and comes out with the left hook and continues to do the damage. Stewart walked right into it. Holyfield had it all cut off, and he was in the path. And Holyfield, one of the better finishers, he tries it again here, and there's that uppercut from the bottom of his shoes. Good work here by Holyfield, and give him one opening, and he'll really try to exploit it. In the last couple of fights, he's doing a big turn on his left hook.
I think it's almost a tale of 2 rounds because Stewart had a chance to take control early on in the round, and he let it slip away.
And we begin round number 9. And Evander Holyfield punches in round number 8. Stewart, as Carl mentioned, with the advantage.
numerically, and you wonder about how effective those shots at the end of the round might have been. They might have stolen it for Holyfield.
Because you have to look at the number thrown and connected, not necessarily the percentage.
And I like the power connects too.
And there's Stewart's jab now. When he uses the jab, he's effective.
He has shown flashes of being strong tonight. The jab, some counter right hands. What he's not been able to do is put it together for 3 minutes a round.
Stewart just ducked away from a right hand and fired one off of his own.
Stewart instinctively fires a right hand back after Holyfield does, but doesn't throw many lead rights or even lead jabs.
Stewart's not scared of Holyfield, but I guess to counter that, Holyfield obviously has very little fear of Stewart.
And the fact he's been here against this fighter before helps. He knows the style. He knows how Stewart fights. Stewart has just been his own worst enemy tonight. He could have made this a lot more interesting. He still has some time, but he's been waiting too long.
Approaching the final minute of this ninth round. Once again, Stewart inactive with his jab. There's Holyfield's jab now.
And he does the more work as Stewart again tries to counter with the right hand. Another uppercut thrown from too far out by Evander Holyfield.
Holyfield tried to load up with a right of his own.
Well, study long, study wrong. Stewart has been just trying to size up the situation throughout most of the fight.
Well, if he doesn't do something, he'll be sizing up very lopsided scorecards.
Absolutely.
At least the way we see it. And that is the end of round 9. Round 10, and Carl Banks, sounds like Alex Stewart's corner is trying to convince him that he can take out Holyfield.
And they know that the only route for him to do that, to win this fight, is a knockout because he is so far behind. Corners have to be able to motivate fighters and condoms sometimes. There's the jabs through round 8, even though Stewart has more connected. Kind of a surprising stat. Holyfield had 36 in the first round, so he's been steadily going down and trying to go to the body more, as Carl mentioned earlier.
Stewart unleashes a combination. Holyfield blocked most of it, but it was a combination.
I think the drop in the jabs for Holyfield indicates his lack of fear for Stewart and the fact he doesn't think he has to jab his way in. He's walking right in.
Left by Holyfield.
Bob, at this point, do you think the thought is going through the Holyfield corner's mind that he has to be impressive so that he can warrant a title rematch?
Well, Stewart trying to come on and put some punches together, and well, that's the question. I don't think they're concerned about how he takes out Alex Stewart. I think all they care about is a win. Dave?
They need to win, and this way he can possibly guarantee the rematch. But he probably does not strike any more fear in the heart of Riddick Bowe. Of course, Riddick Bowe doesn't scare easily, but this has not been an overwhelming performance. It's been a passive performance. It's been one where he's taken what's been given to him.
Maybe the Bowe camp wants to fight Holyfield right away, feeling that it could be a big money fight, a lot of publicity, and Holyfield is easy pickings for Bowe the second time around.
This is probably the impression that they will gain out of this fight. After the first 2 rounds, Evander has been more of a technician.
I think the one thing we also have to consider, too, is Evander didn't have any fights for a long time, and the layoff could have an effect, or it is having an effect on him.
Well, devil's advocate of that, after he did win the championship, he was fighting 2 times a year, and this is right about on pace. Now Holyfield and Stewart exchange here at the end of round 10, the first real action of the round. Both fighters score at the bell. There's Alex Stewart back in his corner.
Take this guy out of there.
Number 1, baby, you can do it. Just take it to him. You got him made up, you got him fucked up, you got him go ahead. Let's have punch you said. 2 more rounds left. He's done now. He's a short out of it. He's wrong, it's a little so good to it. My man, you know, listen to me.
Come on, let's go. Dave, you know what I find interesting? There wasn't really any fight instruction for Alex Stewart. It was more of, let's try to get this guy to believe he can take out Holyfield's side. He's wrong. But no real instructions.
No technique, no jab your way into contention, no make him lean into a punch and set up an opening for yourself. Because he had so many fights. Now, Stewart had a good round last time and takes it with 22-17 connected, but they are not giving the instructions because so many of his earlier knockouts just came easily enough to him. He didn't have to manufacture them. Here, he has to manufacture a knockout. It's not easy. Time is running out.
Good left hand by Holyfield. But once again, it gets back to the psyche of Alex Stewart.
Well, in a sense, he's beaten himself in this fight.
2 rounds to go, he has to be more active. He has to show that he wants a knockout.
Yeah, like where's the intensity at this point? At least gamble. You've got nothing to lose. The scorecards are not going to be very nice to him.
Holyfield ripping on the inside. Fortunately for Stewart, he dances away. Well, that's like in your sport of football. A team goes into a game with a running plan. As Holyfield scores with an uppercut in the left hand, and they're down 30-3, and they continue to run the football and try to establish the run.
It doesn't make sense. You got to pass the ball. You have to be able to change in midstream and do what it takes to win.
And right now, it's Holyfield that's doing enough to win.
Alex Stewart has not adjusted other than some brief flurries in round 4 and a couple other in the last round. He has not fought with the desperation of someone who knows he needs the big win to get into contention. The opportunity for him here is enormous. He's marketable if he wins this fight.
Well, in speaking with him before the fight, it seems as though he just wanted to go out and see if he could get a win. It didn't seem like he trained for victory.
Good left hand by Holyfield. And Stewart back on his heels. Another left hand scores, and a right hand, and a left.
Stewart in real trouble again. Very close to going down here.
Will Holyfield try the uppercut? As Holyfield lets Stewart off the rope, there's Stewart scores with a right hand and another.
When it's this hot outside,
Around. Bob Hopper along with Dave Von Temple and Carl Banks.
Nice clean left now.
And we see it that Stewart needs a knockout.
And what seems like a surprisingly meek performance by Alex Stewart tonight. He looked better against Moorer. He rebounded from trouble. Against Foreman, he rebounded from trouble. Here he started to and never really got himself all the way back into this fight.
I feel after this fight, the whole Stewart camp is going to have to do some soul searching and find out what it is that needs to be done so that he can be motivated and come out and put together solid rounds.
He'll be tough as a sellable item after this fight.
Well, at 28 years of age and after this is his 37th professional fight, how much soul searching can you do?
You know, to get back to a fight of this magnitude as he throws the right hand there, he needed a series of wins.
But every time he's faced a name fighter, Foreman, Moorer, Tyson, second time with Holyfield, those have been his losses.
But even in those fights, other than Tyson, he showed more determination than he has here. It's been a surprisingly passive performance.
You know, I would have to attribute it to his training. He's in very good shape, but did he train to get in shape or did he train to fight Evander Holyfield? That's the question that I have, and it's still unanswered because, well, it is answered now, but talking to him, he didn't mention Holyfield not once. He says, I set goals for myself in training, sparring the correct amount of rounds and doing the correct amount of sit-ups. He never mentioned Evander Holyfield.
Well, the instructions in between rounds basically was you can knock him out, not specifics.
Well, the lesser line fighters, that strategy will work. But against the top flight fighter, the knockout really has to be set up. And Stewart was doing a nice job in the 4th and 5th rounds with right-hand counters, but not much since. Yeah, this fight was there for him to take.
He never forced Holyfield to brawl and become susceptible to his punching power, his strength. To Holyfield's credit, he has dictated the terms of the fight.
And he's taken what's been offered to him.
As a heavyweight, Evander Holyfield has never been noted as the big puncher.
But it should have been very easy to lure him into a brawl because of just the past history shows that if you hit Holyfield, he wants to hit back.
Stewart is hurt against the ropes. An inside left and a right hand got him. He dances away from trouble. But he won't be able to run away from the scorecards.
He might want to run as far away from them as he can.
And that is it. The fight is over. Alex Stewart and Evander Holyfield. Holyfield returns to the ring. A workmanlike effort. Showed some different things with the right hand and the good jab throughout most of the fight, but he was never really pressed by Alex Stewart. Carl Banks?
Well, I think he can draw some positives from this. He's going to have to do some work, and I think mentally he's just getting back into it, and I don't think it's the same as when he was the heavyweight champion, Bob. He had a layoff, but mentally he wasn't into the fight game. When he was champion, he was into the fight game, and he knew exactly what he had to do. So I think his next fight, you'll see a much improved Evander Holyfield.
Well, Evander Holyfield in the ring. Is he 29-1? We will find out just momentarily from Michael Buffer. Hammer in the ring as well, their first venture together. Does Holyfield now get a shot?
Well, you know, Rock Newman he likes to play both ends against the middle, and, you know, he said he wanted a guy that was marketable, you know, and he's dictating the terms now for the heavyweight championship belt. Who knows? He may play games with him, he may not. He may want to go right after Evander Holyfield after something like this.
So Holyfield with a workmanlike effort. The way we saw it here, Alex Stewart only won 2 of the rounds.
Well, I would have to agree with you, Bob, because he just didn't do enough. He was not the aggressor. He didn't force the issue, not one round. I think the rounds that he did take, it was because he scored off of counterpunching on Evander.
Alex Stewart seated in his corner. He was looked over by the doctor, which is something they do. Holyfield very relaxed. Now we take you up to Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the scorecards. Eugene Grant scores about a 119 to 109. Frank Brunette and Al DeVito score it 118 to 110 for the winner by unanimous decision, Evander, the real deal, Holyfield.
Well, not a surprise. Evander Holyfield is now 29-1. Alex Stewart is now 32-5. And Stewart may have plummeted out of the heavyweight picture.
Well, he certainly dug a hole for himself if he's not out of the picture. He's going to really have to fight some quality opponents and really have good showings.
All right, Holyfield is ready with Dave Bontempo.
Evander, congratulations. It was not a rumble. Were you surprised?
Well, it was a rumble in a different type style. You know, I was out there boxing and realized that Alex Stewart was fired up. He didn't want to be denied, and it was going to be a very competitive fight. I could have stood in there, took the chance to go toe-to-toe, made the fight a lot closer. But, I tried to do what my corner would want me to do and try to do the best I can.
Quickly, do you think you'll get ready for next, and would you fight him any differently?
Well, my whole thing is that everything's a little different. Different fighter bring out different things. With Alex Stewart, I was able to do certain things that I may not be able to do on both on the start.
Okay, Evander, thank you very much, and we're going to take it back now down to Bob Papa.
All right, thank you very much, Dave Bontempo, here at the Convention Center in Atlantic City, New Jersey, as Evander Holyfield comes up with the decision, a unanimous decision against Alex Stewart. Dave Bontempo, Carl Banks, a pleasure for all of us at Main Event Television. Thank you for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed tonight's action from Atlantic City.
Sullivan won the heavyweight championship as he stopped Charlie Mitchell in May of 1883. The third garden is where boxing boomed and championship fights were fought regularly. Joe Louis fought 8 heavyweight title fights there between 1938 and 1947. The present Madison Square Garden is 22 years old and has had its share of big fights. The most memorable was the Ali Frazier Championship fight in March of 1971, the first of their 3 epic battles. After several years out of the spotlight, Madison Square Garden is once again showcasing a major heavyweight fight. Former champion Michael Dokes, ranked number 3 in the world, has overcome drug addiction to fight his way back into contention. He's won 12 of 13 fights during his 2.5-year comeback. And now he takes on another contender for the heavyweight title, Donovan Razor Ruddock, who's ranked number 2 and is still angry that Mike Tyson pulled out of their scheduled title fight last November. Ruddock feels it should have been him and not Buster Douglas who got the chance to unseat the champion. Razor Ruddock wants to prove he's ready for a shot at the heavyweight championship. The heavyweights return to Madison Square Garden tonight.